Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Samurai Schultz, and we're going to do some drawing today. But you'll notice that I have a different page out. We're not just doing face drawings anymore. We're not doing flame drawings for the icon. No gargoyles today. Although we might do that at some point here. But what I want to focus on is, since everything is kind of about the sigils and the crafting system and putting those sigil rings together to make a custom ability, I'm trying to experiment with some visuals regarding that. So you'll see I have, whoops, you'll see I have a reference board right there, and I'm actually gonna bring that up on my screen. And then off to the side, I have some images. I'm gonna bring those over. One second here. Control C, Control V. I don't understand why it will not drag over. I'm just trying to drag them, and it's not working here. Let's see, duplicate, align, no. Oh, don't tell me I have to download each of these. I think they might take different image types, that might be it. Okay, well, anyways, I think I'm gonna download. Oh, this is gonna be kind of a pain. Oh well. It's okay. This is the image right here. I'll just paste that in there. Okay. Boom, got that. Okay, we're gonna delete it in my downloads folder. Let's see if I can select. Here, I'll just bring this up right here. See if I can select. I can't select multiple images at once. Download. 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 Okay. Now I'm gonna shut that up, and then we're gonna take these 4 images. I'm just gonna put them right in here. So we have this more alchemical looking one, which I like. And then this I like because it's modular. Wait, I can rotate it. Cool. I like this one, just feels more modular. This one's cool because it's Norse. I like Norse stuff. This is what I like. I like the characters around the ring. And I think there may have been some other images. This right here. Yep. So I'm gonna have to download each of these. Okay. 1 second. I'm doing something very important. Something very big. Okay. Oops, patient sigil. Gonna download that. I think I have guardian sigil already. Okay. We have navigation sigil. Nope. Nope. Okay. Whoops, guess I'm doubling up on some of these. I don't think I have this one though. What the heck? Weird. Anyway, we're just gonna close that down. I'm gonna take these, put them here. Enlightenment, Clarity, Guardian, Sanctuary. Hold up, I'm gonna take this off to the side. So we have Enlightenment, we have Weapon of Light, we have Shield of Light, we have Sanctuary, we have Patience, we have Guardian, Navigation, and Clarity. We don't have this one though. There's one last one that's not super important, but it's kind of cool nonetheless. So it's this one right here. This is on the back of each of them. It's got the 4 alchemical symbols for 4 classical elements. I think this is fire, air, water, and earth. So those are kind of cool. Got this. I'm gonna make this bigger because it's got big characters, pretty tiny characters otherwise. This. We have this. Yeah, and that can stay small. These, I'll just zoom into each of those. Actually, no, I'll make them the same size-ish. Okay. Yeah, so I wonder if we can actually spot one here. Lagos. I wonder if we can spot this one on here. Yeah, right there. See that? We have this one called Lagos, or however it's pronounced, and then it's right there. I wonder if we can find Thwas. This little boomerang looking one. It's got the hooks on either end, so it's kind of like Lagos, except it's got another one right there. Okay. Anyways, that's enough musing. The main thing that I want to do is make some rings. So right now, if I open up Notion here, and let's go to content. If we open up mechanics, we can go to crafting. Right, so we have some different components to every ability. I'm trying to componentize this, or fragment it somewhat. We'll see how that works. I actually don't need my pen right now. I don't know why I have this out right now. Right. But let's go to abilities, sigil seal, overview. Okay. So right here, I kind of have this thing where, oh, I just realized you guys can still see that on screen. I'm going to put this off to the side just a little bit. How do I describe this? Right now, we have a few things. Actually, hold on, give me a sec. I have something that makes this make a little bit more sense. I have a spreadsheet. One second, I promise this will all be wonderful. I still had Unreal Engine open, that's no good. Okay, where the freak is my freaking spreadsheet? What in the world? That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Alright. Here we go. Okay. So right now you should be able to see this right here. Okay. So we have I kind of have this split up. I'm gonna bold that to make it more labeled. I do Control X, Control V. Okay, so every ability is going to be made up of building blocks, which are going to be represented by a ring. For example, there could be let's open up Krita so I can just show you a little bit more accurately. I'll put this back into shape. So each sigil is basically going to have a center. Let's do it right here. It's going to have a center. This is like the product. Let's say it's let's say this is fire. It's just fire of some kind, right? And then we go back. If we reference our spreadsheet here, you guys can't see that. Here, let me. There we go. Actually, instead of doing that, let's call this physical immunity. So there's an ability called piety in my game, and I'm trying to fragment it. And the actual product, what you actually get as the character, you get physical immunity. Okay? So you get physical immunity, that's the product. And then the layer just outside of that, wish I could alt tab between these more easily. There we go. The next layer outside of that is here. The next layer outside of that might be duration. I don't think the order, how far it is away from the center really matters. All I really know is that each one is pertaining to a different property. The distance from the center doesn't really matter. Okay, so this is a ring. Pretend it's more circular. We have duration as a property of this physical immunity. How long does it last? And in this case, it would be how long are you immune for? Okay, so we have duration. Actually, that would be the level, but duration is specific to physical immunity. Maybe if it was something like a jump, you don't really have a duration to that. It's just okay. You tap spacebar. How high do you jump? Or leap rather. I guess jumping is already included in the game. It's just a basic movement. But I mean like a super jump, right? And then we have whether it's internal or external. So are you applying this to yourself? Or is it to the environment? Or is it both? So for that, we have, let's make a circle outside of this. And this is going to be internal / external. Sorry, it's a little bit slanted, but we've got that right there. Or maybe it's both, right? And we could have a symbol for both. Maybe it's this symbol versus this symbol. Those are both Norse runes. Okay, and then outside of that, we have the attribute source. So remember, we have 4 hard attributes that the player has. So for example, we have health, right? I just call it a hard attribute. It's kind of an arbitrary name, but it's ironically, it's one that's going to be changing a lot of the time, so it's not really hard, but it's not really set in stone. But you have health, you have stamina, and then there is spirit, and there is intuition. Okay. So we all tab back. Oh, actually, we skipped player state. Player state means like, do you have to be running to use it? Do you have to be crouching? You know, like basically, it's like a basic condition. Like, what does the player have to be doing? Player state check. I was gonna call it dependency, but that's way too long. So we're gonna make that a ring. And then if we alt tab back, ability source, right. So ability source would be, let's actually take a look at our definition. Whether the ability can be activated because another ability is active. So maybe two abilities work together to create a new ability. Or rather, one just depends on the other. Like, I don't know. In order to activate the ability Phoenix King, which is when you hover in midair, shooting down flames like you're a human flamethrower, you have to have the fly ability. Something like that, right? So this is going to be actually, what did we call it again? Ability source. Ability source. And then outside of that, we have attribute source. So outside of that, we're going to have an attribute source. And there's a lot of modularity to this because let's say you find, oh my gosh, this is so bad. Let's say you find an ability, let's say you find an attribute source ring and you, I mean, if you don't have the attribute source, then there's not going to be a cost to any of your attributes. So there's kind of two options there. Either I can make it so that in order for the ability to work, you have to have an attribute source ring, or you're missing out on something, like maybe it gives an extra buff if you do have that, versus if you don't, maybe it gives you a negative stat. So I'm not going to think too much about what is going to be the perfect way to do this right now. I'm just going to try to create a system where I can change some properties later if I need to, whether any of these rings are required. So to recap, we have, and I'm not going to use circles, I'm just going to use lines. We have product, and then outside of that, I'm actually going to change it from duration. I'm just going to skip that. I want to put the level on the outermost one, because duration is the longer this lasts, the more effective it is, because it's already immune, right? You don't really need to scale it. If you're immune to damage, you can't really take more or less damage. You're just immune to it. You're not taking any. So right out of that, we're going to say whether it's internal or external. Oops, I'm actually gonna change that. We're gonna call this internal and, oh, we're actually gonna use the or operator, or external. And this means it could be one of these or it could be both. So it's any of these, rather. Then outside of that, we're going to have the player state check. Player. Actually, I'm not even going to do that. I'm gonna have ability source right there. Ability source. And then I'm going to have attribute source outside of that. Attribute source. And then outside of that, I'm going to have player. I'm going to have, we'll change this to required player state. So again, does the player need to be running or walking or jumping in order to activate this ability, or to sustain it, rather? Like, like maybe you need to be walking in order to activate it, but you don't need to be walking to keep it going. So, okay, so we have the actual product. We do not have that. We have this, we have that, we have that. Okay. Then out here we have level. And the reason I've decided to put this on the outside is, from a player perspective, if I'm looking at, let's say I'm looking at one of my ability sigils, I just want to be able to look at the outermost layer and the innermost layer and be like, oh, it's a level 10 physical immunity. In this case, yeah, it could be time, damage, some other form of effectiveness, some form of effectiveness. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, we have 6 minutes left to do this. That's crazy. So anyways, let's just play around with some symbols here. Main ones I want to figure out are level and product. So a numerical system and then an actual product. This one might be trickier, so I just want to figure out a numerical system. So, for example, we'll have, whoa. That's how we have level. I'm going to say level characters. So, if we're looking at this bad boy right here, I'm kind of thinking they could just be Roman numerals, but that just feels kind of boring. That feels kind of boring. So I'm wondering if there is a system. Well, actually, we don't need to do numerical. So we could, it's numerical versus symbolical. That's a word, right? I'm not going to use Copilot. That's such a waste of energy. I feel like I'm going crazy. Symbolical is a word, right? Symbolical word. It is. Okay, thank you, AI. Okay, I just used it anyway. Whatever. Um, so for numerical, we could have uh, Roman numerals. Whoops, that's. We can have. For this, we can have like common, uncommon, rare, etc. And really, this is just an extension of the numerical because we do need some value to get passed into this. Because, like for this, for example, it has to be duration for physical immunity, and that needs to take in a value, right? So is it 5 seconds? Is it 10 seconds? Is it 15 or 20 seconds? Um, and this means it would just show the number directly. This means it would have some preset. Like common always means 5. Whatever it is, whether it's, the damage applied or the duration, it's just going to be 5. Extension of numerical as presets. So 5, 10, 15, etc. Okay. And that might be a little bit janky because you'll need to balance numbers. You wouldn't really be balancing though, would you? That's the thing is I don't want this to be a balanced. I don't want to balance the player abilities. I want to balance the player's obstacles. Like I love games where you can, using your own ingenuity, you can make. And this is especially apparent in deck building games like Inscription, for example. You can make a deck that is just overpowered, right? It's just super, super good. Maybe it's only good at doing one type of thing, but it's super, super good at it, and it dominates most of your opposition. What was I even talking about? With this, since you can craft your own abilities, I want that same kind of feeling of, oh wow, I got a level 10, uh, I got a level 10 ring, and then I got a player state walking, and then I got a fire wave. So it's just a really strong fire wave, and in order to sustain it, I just have to keep walking forward. And then this is gonna split into either sustained, um, activating. Wait, hold up. Sustaining, activating, or both. I mean, if it's sustaining, it's going to be both, I guess. Okay, I'm going to turn off my phone here. Okay, I'm kind of thirsty and I don't have my pitcher in here, so I will be right back. I'm back. Okay. So we are going to be done with this. Yes, we're going to be done with this right now. I'm going to save this as... let's save this as... I'm going to bring this... I'm going to call this sigilry design. Save that. And I'm going to switch over to Unreal Engine and Visual Studio. Okay. I got all this. Gosh, I have so many programs open. It's actually kind of crazy. Oh yeah, I also have to save this. Just gonna unplug my tablet first. So gotta put away my pen here. We have a new scene.pure. I'm gonna call this sigilry design.pure. Yes. Okay. All right, now we're officially switching back. So right now, I'll just show you guys what I've done so far here. This part's kind of boring, but it's not too bad. This stupid thing. I don't know why this started happening. Identifier canvas panel is not available in Lambda 1. You know what? Screw this. This is getting in the way. And it's subtracting time because I'm expecting it to just load up all the way and it doesn't. So instead of doing that, instead of actually trying to load it up, we're going to do something here. I'm going to... Let's see. When I press debug game from writer, let's see. It pauses halfway through. Oops. What did I describe this? It pauses halfway through and brings up. What's this class? Actor component.cpp. Actor component.cpp at this line. We're gonna copy that line. Nope, I didn't want that to play. Okay, anyways. Nope, that's not what I want. Excuse me. Whew. Okay, we are actually going to stop and rerun. And I think it should check again. It's going to bring this up at around 70 something %. It's, yeah, okay, good. And the error log says, copy this. Identifier canvas panel is not available. Okay. And then it's that. There's nothing in the drop down there. Value true. I can't read that. I have no idea what that says. But yeah, let's see here. I really do try to solve things myself, but sometimes when you have anomalous things that you probably aren't going to encounter again, at least that's what my intuition is telling me, then I just want to have a help. I want a leg up. You know. Okay, what's happening with insert message? Okay. Right, insert message. F. Yep. Okay. Why canvas panel is not available in lambda_1. The variable canvas panel is captured in a lambda, but the compiler optimized it away, or the lambda is being inlined or transformed in a way that makes the debugger unable to resolve this symbol. Check where set is replicated by default is being called. Disable. Go to build settings, set the build configuration to debug. I think this might have happened after I deleted my intermediate folder. That might be it. I'm gonna try this first, so we'll do shift, not that. I'm gonna try set is replicated by default. So we're looking for this function, and what? Let's take another look here. Whoops. Forget that just goes away. Open and find tool window. Whatever. It'll take a little bit to load here. Never mind. Ah, come on. I did the thing. You can't click away. I forgot. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm just gonna stop that process, because clearly that is affecting this. Maybe not, actually. I don't know why I thought that. Files. I don't want to search files. I know there's. I think okay. Make sure it's being called during component construction. Bro. Searching text. Okay. Well, that's weird. Set is replicated by default. I'm gonna try looking for it one more time. In Writer, go to build settings. Where the heck even is that? Go to build settings, set the build configuration to debug. Is there a config section in here? Gosh, it's crazy how much of an imposter I feel like. I was just watching a video today where You might have heard of this channel, if you're into coding, but his name is Coding Jesus, and he seems like he's just on a surface level. He seems like he's very proficient in C++. Not on a surface level. I mean, at face value, just first glance. And he was critiquing Pirate Software's code. And then I saw another video of his interviewing this other game developer about like how much storage each data type takes up. And this guy, the game developer, he at least understood the question. I didn't even understand the questions that this guy was asking. Sometimes, at least. There was one that I understood, or that I thought I understood, but yeah. Shoot, I don't know what to do here. Okay. Let's just read this again. This line in actor component.cpp is part of it. Okay. It means it needs initialization is returning true, which means the component is already initialized and you're calling set as replicated by default too late in the life cycle. Okay. So, what in our project inherits from uActor component? I don't think it's this. Oh, we're actually looking through private. We should be looking at public. Because public is what shows the inheritance. So let's look at... Oh, never mind. We actually don't need this anymore. This is from our old project. So I'm going to delete both of those. Right. Here, let me take a second look at this. Yeah. Yeah, we do not need this. Guess we have game structure, modes, player, character, player, controller. I don't think it would be any of those. I'm gonna look at player controller though. Set is replicated by default. No, it wouldn't be called in there. Maybe in here. I'm gonna move this off to the side. Nope, that's not what I want to do. I want to do Control F. Set is replicated. What if we set it this way? Well, if I compile this, chain storage component. Oh, okay. Well, we'll just delete that since we don't need that anymore. Okay, let's try compiling again. Okay, it's also that. We have an empty constructor, which I think is fine. Oh. Oops. Totally missed that. And I don't think it's up here anymore. Okay, we should be good. Okay. Let's try compiling. Let's see if we have the same error. We changed this to set is replicated by default. It should be happening right about here, but it's not anymore. And let's here. I'm gonna check. Hold up. Do. Hold up 1 second. I'm gonna check my inventory component. Oh, that's not it. Nope. Nope. Hmm. Oh, whoops. We're in the wrong section. Okay. Inventory management. Components. Hello, by the way. Hope you're enjoying the stream. We're doing some kind of boring stuff right now, but because we have this bug where it pauses when I try to load up the game, it pauses. They load up, and I don't want that to happen because I don't want to manually press play again. Says replicated by default. Okay. He has this. I did not have it. It's fine now. Okay, anyways, what I wanted to show you guys was this right here. So, was that it? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so if we look at our, I know it's kind of hard to see. Here, let me actually increase this. I like that a little bit more. So we have this BP underscore Channery's item component. It's just an item component so that we can give different actors properties. We can put them in our inventory. We can have them have a category like consumables or craftables or equipables, all that good stuff. And this can be attached to any actor, but it also has some properties that it owns. For example, we have cooking. I don't know what cooking is. That's just some, well, stuff I don't care about. Doesn't really matter right now. But if we go to inventory, we have the item manifest. That's like basically all of the properties that pertain to the item actually being in the inventory. Because we have physical 3D objects in the world, like if I press play, we've got this physical 3D object, but when I press E to pick it up, I want to actually add that to my inventory. I'm actually gonna, oops, I'm gonna move myself up here so you can see the logs at the bottom. You can see when I press E, we look at the log on the bottom, pressing E, it just says adding item. So it just puts a log out instead of actually adding it to our inventory, which is right here. We also need to figure out a way to see when I have my little white dot on screen, and then I have the E-pickup. When I press tab, I don't want to see either of those anymore. I want them to be behind. So maybe I'll have to set the Z order, like how, how they're stacked against each other. But I want it to actually be added to the consumables panel. What we're working on right now is in your inventory, you have all these different properties. Like maybe you have healing, like how much does it heal the player by when they can consume it? Can they consume it from the inventory? Can they equip it? What the cost is, what the weight is, how much mana it requires, all these different things. And instead of having every single item have a healing stat and a damage stat, because like that doesn't really make a lot of sense. If we have a potion, we don't need to have a damage property for that. We need that to be a separate thing. I'm gonna move my camera down here because it's a little too high. We need to have that be a separate thing. so we can just attach it where we need it. We can just attach damage to our sword item if we need it, or maybe we want our potion to have damage applied to something, so we can attach that. Here, we have the fragment system. So, for example, I want this to, I want it to have some properties in the grid. So how many slots does it take up? Because maybe it'll take up a 2x3 rectangle. How much padding should it have? Like, how much distance is there between uh, the area it takes up and the other grid slots? So this would kind of, it's like a border, basically, except there's no color on that border. It's just empty space. And then we have a fragment tag, which is kind of just used to track it, essentially. And then same thing for this. We have an image fragment, so we can have an icon for it. We can set the size of it, like so. I'm just going to set that back to default. And we have a tag for it as well. So that's the fragment system. That's pretty cool. We also have a category, which tells us which of these tabs it's going to be stored in. So for example, consumables, well, we have it set right here. It's set to be consumable, so when we pick it up, it'll be in that slot. And then we have item type, which is like a subcategory. It falls under this, and it's a hierarchy of this broad category called game items. And underneath that, there's a less broad category called consumables. And then underneath that, there's health potion. And if we wanted to, we could have health potion be wrapped in a category called potions. So it'd be kind of an in-between thing there. But yeah, that is what we are working on presently. So let's get it. I'm gonna watch this video. And this one is about actually putting it in the inventory, I believe. So let's do that. Okay. One sec. I just gotta watch this. Yeah, so on our inventory component, we have a function that when you pick up an item, or pick up, when you press E, you're going to try to add that item to the inventory. And, well, do we have any open slots available? We have to figure that out. Or what if we have something of the same type? We have to figure out if it's stackable, how much it stacks up to, what the remainder will be, because we have to pick up some, perhaps, and then we have to leave the rest on the ground, or we have to move it to another slot. So there's like 4 or 5 different options that we can take, and we have to implement all of that. Nope. Wait, what even is this? Base? Base item, inventory item. Oh my goodness. This is from the other... Oh, right. I'm going to delete this folder as well. I'm going to mark that in here. So in results, I'm going to make a section for that, and then we have setup. In setup, we just deleted some files and folders from other course. It's the other course that I was following. Results. We don't have any results yet, so I'm going to leave that blank. Let's go back. press play. And if you have any questions about what I'm doing, feel free to ask. I love trying to answer questions. It helps me think. And yeah, I just like helping people out. Can't promise I will have the answer, but I will do my best. Oh my gosh, we have so many tabs open, look. I don't like that. I'm going to close all my other tabs. And I'm going to do this. Okay, we're just going to have these open. He also has inventory grid open, which is under UI. There we go. Wait, hold up. Inventory grid. Oh, he's looking in the CPP file. So see here. He's looking at add item. Oh, wait, I see. Right, so we're binding this broadcast from on item added. Because if we click on that, where are we using this? We're using on item added. On item added. Right, so a bunch of stuff is going to happen. It's going to broadcast this at some point. And if and when that happens, this right here, it's going to listen for that, and it's going to activate this function. What does this function do? It's going to check to see if the item matches a category or something like that. Oh, we're halfway through our time already. Man, our stream is going fast. Gee Willikers. Wowza. Right. Okay, so we're checking to see if we have room, apparently. Has room for item. Right. So we are getting the item component, and we're seeing if we even have room for it. But we're going to check to make sure we have room for it again right here, apparently. Wait, hold on. I got it back. Okay, so we have to call has room for item again to figure out where it's actually going to go, I think. Mm-hmm. Special inventory. And there's so many parts to this. My goodness. Wow. Oh my gosh, I am not understanding what he's saying. We're just gonna run with it. Yikes. Okay. What? We're just looking at these two, I guess. Just their CPP files. Okay. Item component. Where is the item component? Okay. Oh, yeah, we have to figure out where it goes. So we're going down this rabbit hole of trying to figure out what the item category is. Item components. Get item manifest. Get item category. Why is this underlined? Is that there? Expression result is not used. Oh, I see. Okay. I don't want to make. I don't like that there's a separate utils folder. I do not like that. We are gonna. We're gonna move that here. And I'm gonna move this there. And I'm gonna delete that. Really, really bugs me. Because we have that there. And then under inventory management, we have utils as well. Under that, we have inventory status. I'm going to move that there and delete this. Okay. And before I make any more changes, I'm just going to compile because I'm going to have to fix up some. Hold on, I actually don't need that active anymore. I'm going to let that go. Okay, let's recompile here. Okay, so we got 4 errors, and it's purely related to this. So we're just gonna have that right there, and then it's, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's already enough to have like 2 separate utils files. Like, that's not, yeah. Too many folders. Too many. There's a point where it gets to be too much. Okay. Now if we compile, it should be fine. Oh. Oh, we missed that. Whoopsie. Alright. I don't know how I missed that. Okay, there we go. Well, let's keep going. Okay, so inside inventory statics, we can make a static function that gets the item category. So let's see if I can write this myself. U chanaries underscore item it's something about category. Static category item oh right, it's an enum. I'm gonna forward declare it for now and see if that works. Why would it take in that? It's gonna be a const u chanaries underscore item component, or would it be inventory item? I'm gonna say item component, and we'll add a forward declare. Okay, let's see if that's right. Oh, from item comp. Okay. We don't need to make it const apparently. I mean, we could make it const. U function. So yeah, it's gonna be callable. Why do we want that to be callable? Anyway. Okay. Let's just generate that definition. We're gonna check is valid. Item comp. Well, okay, that's fine. If that is valid, we're going to return E item category. Oops, item category, none. Cannot convert item component to parameter. Oh, wait a second. What am I missing? He did it the exact same way. Oh, nope, I don't get it still. Get item category from item comp. U chanaries. Item component, it is a pointer. And we're just going to return that item component. Okay, whatever. Cannot, okay. So it's incomplete. Cannot convert U chanaries item component. Pointer to incomplete type. How is it an incomplete type? Okay, anyways. If item component dot is valid, Whoops. Wait, what am I doing wrong now? If is valid. Dot item component. No, no, no. Man, the syntax always trips me up. What am I doing here? What are we doing? If is valid. Return item component. We're going to get item manifest. Dot get item category. Okay. Wait, hold up. Couldn't I just get item category? Wait, what did I do before I added item category? Weird. Get item manifest, and then from there we want to get item category. Okay. Item converts it. How nice. Because this returns... Right. Okay. Wait, it's fine now? Wait, what if I... Okay. Gotta love IntelliSense. That's cool. Love that. Love that for me. Okay. I'm gonna keep watching here. Switch. Oh, item. Whoa, what is... So based on this, we're gonna figure out what room we have in each of those, I think. Okay, I guess we need the inventory grid back up again. Widget utils, I don't need that. Oh, I have it right there. Okay, I'm gonna just close that down, close that down. Don't need that. Okay. Oh, I see. Wait. Hold up. The grid that is copied to create tabs for different kinds of inventory items. I think that's what it is. I think it's those three. Those three different categories. Well, not the three categories, but the tabs for each category. The grid that is it's instanced, I guess, for each item category in the inventory. I think that's pretty accurate. Okay, anyways, we are going to create a function on here that's going to return a slot availability result. So f chanaries, let's actually just type in results. Ability results. There we go. Has room for item. It's gonna take an item component. Okay. Called item components. There we go. Just want to remove that space. Okay. So it's going to take in an item component here and figure out if we have room for it. Huh. I thought we were doing that here. Now I'm a little confused, but anyways, I need to go and use the restroom. So I will be right back. And we're back. Okay. Let's take a look at our lecture here again. Only 9 more minutes left. Wait, hold up. Wait, he filled this out. Okay. Just gonna call this results. And then results dot total room to fill equals 1. And then return results. I thought we did this recently in another class. I'm getting deja vu. Okay. Right. What? Okay, so on spatial inventory. Oh, yeah, I did that right here. Huh. How about that? So in spatial inventory, wait, he doesn't have this here. Whoopsie. On spatial inventory, we need to see. Calls has room for item on the specific inventory grid. Huh. Yep, I'm confused. So here I'm just gonna have return so we're gonna return grid underscore equipables has room for item component. Oops. I'm gonna see if it completes it for me correctly. Okay. We have a default. Why does it want to go back there? I don't want that. I want it to be tabbed in. Return F chanaries underscore slide availability results. So it's basically just going to be a bunch of null pointers or whatever. Hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, this should be error. Okay, I know we only have 4 minutes left technically, but I really want to finish out this lecture. Wait, we don't even get to actually add an item. What? I feel cheated. That's stupid. Kinda dumb, not gonna lie. Wait, inventory component. Right, okay. Right here. I did make a millinote of some interactions between these. So we have this inventory grid. Pretty sure this is, oops. I think this is owned by, let's see, spatial inventory. But yeah, basically I just have everything related to Channeries over here. The orange lines show like references, essentially. Um, like for example, this is referenced by wherever the arrow points. This is stored on wherever the arrow points. Stored as, I have some data types here, like stored as a T subclass of on here. Yeah, some comments as well. Man, that picture of me is like 2 years old. I need to change that out. Spatial inventory. But yeah, I've got a few here. We have item manifest, item component, some of the big ones. Inventory item. Inventory component is the biggest one I'm finding out. Like this is pretty big. This item component though, this we can actually use an arrow right here. And I'm gonna say we make I'm gonna make a BP underscore example item. I'm gonna make it blue. Is that the right shade? Yeah, there we go. Or maybe not that. Maybe. No, it's perfect. No. Beautiful. Okay, so. I'm gonna. Hold up. I'm gonna make this orange. I'm gonna say it's stored as a T-object pointer on these regular lines just mean inheritance. Inheritance from that's okay. Well, I'm gonna put this up here if I can. There we go. Right there, that's perfect. Don't care. I'm going to write out this lecture because we haven't been able to get a single lecture done. I got 2 others done today, but I just want to get this one done in this stream. Okay, we're gonna move that over. Widget controllers. Nice. And then we have the model right here. Oh, I see. That's why we put this down here. I get you. So we have basically all of HATEND up here. I'm gonna bring this to back, and I'm gonna use this to encompass everything in here. This is a separate thing. Why can't I? Why can't I bring this corner in? Bring it back. Dude, every time I move it, it just. Okay. And then this whole thing is Channeries. This is technically going to be in the project, so I'm going to extend that over there. This is going to be right there. bring that to the back. And then the fragment subsystem is just going to bring it to the back. Convert to document lock position. Okay, we can leave that for now. Yeah, man, a lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna keep watching this here. Okay, so the inventory component calls has room for item, which is then added to the fast array, I guess. Right, because this is a struct on the fast array, but it's going through inventory base, I guess. Hmm. Uh, I understand what this means now, because it's literally returning a constructor for that. I see. Anyways, so it's going from we're trying to add an item. It's going from inventory component to inventory base to fast array. And then from there, oh, where did I just? Inventory grid. Generates underscore grid types. Oh no, wait, this is it. Wait, hold on. Okay. Let's go back to inventory grid.cpp. So he's talking here. Okay. Hmm. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what he's saying there, but oops. After we call server add new item, or either one of these, I guess. It's a server add new item. Wait. Server add new item. Okay. We are. I still don't understand how this underscore implementation thing works, but this is essentially calling this right here, I guess. And that in turn broadcasts this new item. And then the inventory grid catches that broadcast somewhere. Where does it catch that? Wait, why does this trigger in response? He's saying when that is He's saying that when this is broadcast, inventory grid triggers in response. I really want to finish this lecture, so I'm gonna power through. Man, I'm really gonna have to rewatch this series. This feels like watching a show that you didn't understand as a kid, but you're still a kid and you're trying to understand all the adult references on your own. I'm just not ready for this. Oh my goodness. We have like 5-ish minutes left. Less than 5. Okay. So we're adding this again, I guess. Inventory item. Wait. We're putting in private for some reason. We're moving it again. Okay, I'm just gonna... Okay, we're gonna put it right here. I still don't, like, this is what I mean. There's so much going on in this plugin. Like, I don't understand the difference between the item, like the inventory item, and the item component. Oh yeah, this is what I meant to point at. The item component and the inventory item. How do they differ? How? And I just don't have enough time to actually understand those right now. And we're making another overload of it? Okay. Cool. Of course, we're making a third one. Okay. Let's... Okay. Okay. Yeah, he kind of foreshadowed this. I know you guys can't hear, so I'm doing my best to explain, but this right here is this is going to be called by both of these because he said they're basically doing the same thing, but one's taking in an item component while it's taking in an inventory item. Return as get a manifest. Okay. Okay, so we're replacing this with some actual functionality, so that's good. Okay. I'm gonna call this ability results. Results. Okay. Okay. So we have a result has room for item. How does it know which one to call? Interesting. Hmm. Create. Okay, let's try compiling. He has a bunch of errors, so I assume I'm gonna have 13 like he does. Oh, and there they come. Wait, what? I'm built different. Inventory grid.cpp. Is there one for item manifest? Where? Hmm. For some reason, I did not need the include. Why didn't I need that? We don't have it in here either. Whatever, I'm just gonna include it anyways, I guess. Items slash manifest slash items manifest. Sure. Okay. Okay, so we succeeded. Nice. Okay. Wait, do I... It's not prompting me to forward declare them. And it's not up here already. So... That's weird. You know what? It's not giving me any errors on my end. I'm gonna just try compiling again. Well, it looks like it worked. Okay. Hmm. Okay, well, we finished that. Huh. Item component. Chandler's item component. Man, we did a lot of setup to make that work. To kind of do something, maybe. We put a to-do somewhere, didn't we? What class to create instance of? So let's take a look at this right here. So we have, okay, results, none. We have nothing to show for our work yet. But actually, I'm going to do this later because I will be doing more work on the code. So we will have some results later. I'm excited to show them. But I think I'm going to call it there. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed. Tomorrow I will be streaming from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, of course. Doing the same thing. Unfortunately, we're still doing inventory. Now that I'm doing inventory, the grass is kind of looking greener on the side of making combat and adding some animation to our player. That sounds really, really nice right about now. But this is really important. I'm excited to make some art for this as well, to make some actual rings that can fit together. That's going to be really cool. Maybe even modeling them. And yeah, whenever you are working on a project, it's important to have a strong mental image of your desired outcome. And looking at my game design document helps reinforce that strong mental image of the game that I want to have. And that makes me really excited. So I'd say keep that in mind if you are working on something like this that is very tedious and you don't understand it, because that's frustrating. And it's important to look at the positive reinforcement. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Farewell.